This morning, first cab off the rank, I have Irini here. So tell us, what is the name of your game?
Well, the name of our game is Foodomina, or Foodomina, as a lot of people mispronounce, but honestly, I think it sounds a bit better.
I think I mispronounced it that way the first time.
Oh,
I said
tons
it.
of people do, but
Yeah.
it sounds good. I kind of like it.
Either way works. So tell us about Foodomina. What is this game?
Right, so Foodomina is a morally layered food versus mold themed RPG where you play as two personified food girls and you fight mold people in space.
And so it's an RPG, so it's heavily based in story. So what's the story kind of element of the game?
Yeah, well, in general, throughout the gameplay, you explore a whimsical food-themed galaxy, food planets, and you traverse different food civilizations and make food friends. And you also engage in very delightfully absurd, pun-fueled combat with mold enemies. And this all happens in order to save the universe from a impending mold infection.
Yeah, it's such a cool theme, I think, with the food. So tell me about the battle system, because I know you've been hard at work on that. So how has that come into it? What can we expect from the battle system?
Yeah, so last year we spent a lot of time basically giving our battle system a glow up and adding those new features that we really wanted to make it stand out a bit more and have more diverse gameplay, more challenge, and also just add more enemies because that's really fun.
Yeah.
But our battle system is inspired by other RPGs with turn-based combat that fuse other gameplay elements. For example, Undertale, where they have the turn-based combat and the bullet hell gameplay.
Yeah.
We wanted to use that as well, but also introduce unique combat abilities that players can unlock the more they progress through the game, and use strategize with different equipment and tools as well, so they can have some form of self-defense when they're trying to dodge all these mold spores being thrown at them by different mold enemies.
Mm-hmm.
I would say in terms of development, the most fun we have when it comes to our battle system is we do a lot of research into mold biology and different the scientific accurate look of mold through under the microscope and everything, and we apply that to our attack sequences of different mold. We've got these tendrils, we've got these spikes, all the different colors of mold, and it's just so fun to see that play out within a full battle where you're fighting this personified creature that is fully made by mold.
Yeah, that's so cool. And so is it a real linear, I know you're still fleshing out the story, but is it a linear story, or is there a lot of different choices, kind of moments in there?
So the progression is relatively linear, but we do want to have a branching narrative. We are going to have multiple endings, the whole 9 yards that comes with games under the Steam tag, choices matter, and all that. But the direction is pretty straightforward. We obviously have a 5-arc story. Each arc kind of takes place on a new food planet, so players get to explore and witness a unique society and cultural structure and maybe political choices that each planet has, and it's just such a unique experience for each one. And we're excited for players to, I guess, experience that through the lens of the main characters. I forgot their names, Takoyaki and Tempura. We love them. I love my girls. But just kind of experiencing those different cultures, sci-fi, fantasy cultures with each planet, and then eventually getting to know a bit more about mold culture.
Yeah, awesome. And so where did this idea come from? It's quite a unique concept. So where did it come from?
Well, you've heard the story a little bit, but oh gosh, it's such a good story. I love it. So back in 2020, I was originally going to pursue the animation industry. I kind of wanted to do webcomics or something along the lines of storyboard, whatever. And I was about to start my major creative project in my last year of high school. And I had planned with my teacher months in advance to do a comic. I just wanted to make sure that was all good by the school and everything. Come time to actually start that project, she pulls me aside and says, Irini, there's a lot of other students that also want to do comics now, and I think you can do something a little different. I think you can do something that no other student has done before in the school. Why don't you do something with those characters that you've got? Why don't you make a game? I don't think she knew what she meant by that, and neither did I. But ultimately, I ended up making a narrative concept pitch for an RPG. and it's definitely nothing like what an industry standard pitch should be, but I was doing my best as a 17-year-old.
Yep.
And coming up with that idea I was like, let me just make a game combining all of my favorite things. I spoke to my co-founder and programmer, and we just combined our favorite themes, food and space, and took inspiration from our favorite childhood games and just combined their design and progression. So that was Super Mario Galaxy, Destiny, Undertale, and I was also very visually inspired by Steven Universe. The space graphics and visuals are just really whimsical and magical, and I wanted our game to take a more magical approach to space, less scientifically accurate and more just like glittery and fun
like
and
fantasy.
colorful. Woohoo! Yeah. And that's, I guess, where the roots of Foodomina kind of started from. We didn't even have an antagonist yet, but I mean, mold being the enemy of food, it was kind of a given. So that was a very natural progression in us like forming this idea.
Yeah, definitely. And so what made you decide after doing that project at school to kind of go, hang on, this is something I want to make into an actual game?
Yeah. So that project, I made that like narrative concept pitch, and I also had to make like a teaser trailer-esque thing. So I got to do some 2D animation and stuff, and I just became like really drawn to the characters, and my programmer as well. We just really loved the idea so much, and it pretty much just sparked our desire to pursue the games industry. In hindsight, like, that kind of journey makes sense for me because a lot of my artistic journey and my passion for like creating art and being part of art communities online and being part of fandoms, I was part of fandoms for other games. So that kind of like made sense to me. I really just wanted to make something that cultivated a community. I always just wanted to make something that felt close to people and people really enjoyed it and connected with it. And a game fandom is something I had exact experience with. So we had decided to pursue the games industry. We didn't know how to make a game, so we had to do a bit of studying first before we got to make anything, actually like pursue Foodomina properly.
Yeah. And so I know you've been working on it since 2020 was when you first started. So you've been studying. What has kind of the back end of that journey looked like since kind of, finishing because you finished your degree now?
Yeah. I'm fully done with study now. That is happening. No more. So, I mean, we came up with the idea. I finished high school. We decided to pretty much pick up our lives and move across Australia down to Melbourne to pursue game study in the heart of the games industry. We studied in our respective bachelors, so me in animation, my programmer in programming, and we graduated with our bachelors in mid-2023. From there, I ended up becoming part of the SMART program, which was this mentorship program ran by IGEA, and that went for 6 months, and it was really valuable for us. We got to have mentoring from industry people that like specialized in stuff that we wanted to grow in, got business mentoring, and that sparked my interest in business and marketing heavily. I started like posting online for Foodomina. We started making the actual like game more commercially, like having new assets. We had all the skills ready. We were ready to go. And we started going to events as well and exhibiting and stuff. And after the SMART program, we both decided to do a postgraduate business diploma because we wanted to establish, I guess, the foundation of our indie startup in a safe-to-fail environment. And that was so valuable for us because we really got to grow our business as well as make the game in a very supportive space. And it was like the best thing we could have done for the game. And then we ended up at PAX Rising. It was an amazing opportunity. And now we are hoping to pursue development full-time. No more studying. In fact, my graduation ceremony for the business diploma was a couple days ago. So I can definitely say I'm ready to move on from the graduation and the hats
games
that never sit on my head. I'm ready to move on.
Awesome. And so I know you've been working hard on your demo. So tell us about that process of getting something ready for players to play at home.
Yes. Okay. Well, we put so much love and care into, even though it's just like a demo. We previewed the demo for the first time at PAX last year, and that's what we're previewing. Pretty much the same thing this at TGX, because we're releasing our demo on Steam in a couple of months. So
hey guys, just wanted to jump in and let you know that the Foodomina demo is actually live right now, so you can go and check it out. Go and play it. Go and experience Foodomina for yourselves right now.
We wanted to make sure we had like a full marketing campaign just to really try and spread awareness of that demo as much as possible. Leading up to having like that development to reach completion of the demo, we just did as much testing as possible. Throughout development, we like QA is at the heart of what we do, so we form our production workflow around these monthly milestones that result in a build ready for testing. And we do testing pretty much every single month. We'll get students from different universities, we'll get volunteers like followers online that want to do testing, and it's a part of like our studio that we really enjoy, because we get to give opportunities to people that are still studying to kind of experience a industry standard QA practice. And they also get to put that on their resume or on LinkedIn, and they get credit in the game, and we give them some merch, because who doesn't want a little sparkly trinket to take with them?
And so tell me about the character design, because you do all of the art in-house, so tell me about the incredible design.
Oh gosh, well, you know that a lot of like the space visuals are obviously very inspired by Steven Universe. I have, my artistic background is a lot more in illustration, and pixel art is something that I self-taught myself just like from other games that I enjoy, to basically just make our game have a pixel art medium. I feel like it's the most fitting. It just, it feels right for our game. But aside from that, what takes actually the most time for me is designing the environments and designing the characters, because all of the characters are either personified from dishes or they're mold. We put so much research into them. We use the Figma, and we have these like collaborative research boards with the team, and there is so much research on different cuisines, different dishes, and oh gosh, the mold biology. Like, you could call me the mold queen, but I don't think I want to be called that, to be honest. But it's just like, if there was ever a trivia like thing on mold, I'd be on it. I would win that for sure. But I just absolutely love the process, because it is really challenging, and sometimes some designs can take me like a month to really work out. But being able to personify different dishes and utilizing like their shape and color and turning that into like a charming character with depth that has a purpose in this world. They have a job in this like food-themed society. They, I don't know, run a hair salon, and the different hair dyes are like soy sauce and Kewpie mayo. Like, it's just so cool. Being able to do stuff like that is so funny and silly, but it still feels like the real world. It just kind of puts an emphasis on things that we have in our life that just feel so trivial and normal to day-to-day life, but you turn it into food and it's like the weirdest thing possible. But it makes complete sense for this society. It's really fun, and I love also including the followers' input, our fans online. We get a lot of their suggestions of like what dishes they want to be designed into characters, and it's a lot of the time a childhood food that they really enjoy, or a dish that always comes out during Christmas, and it makes me really happy to be able to put those into characters, and they feel like really rewarded in that. It's super fulfilling, and they can't wait to interact with these characters once they're in the game.
That's so cool. And so have you had a moment yet that has really made all of the work feel worth it?
Oh gosh, there have been many instances. A lot of them are generally like just us interacting with our community, and our people like online are so supportive and so sweet. We've gotten a lot of fan content, and I would say it's that fan created media that really just makes us so happy. We've had people make remixes of existing tracks in the game, and I'm like, whoa, the game, like the demo's not even out. It's just people that tested the game to give us feedback, and they liked the track so much that they went out of their way to like make a remix of it. It's so flattering. And people that make fan art, a really critical moment for us was last year at PAX Rising. We had people that liked the game so much that they came to give us, like, show us fan art in person that they made the previous night that they like saw our game. And it's like, you saw our game, went home, and rather than sleeping, you decided to draw a character, and not to mention the specific one I'm referring to is a character that's not even in the game yet. They
Yeah.
just saw it in the art book.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is crazy. And
So
we took, one of my team members took a photo with them, and it was just so sweet.
Yeah, it really like comes back to what you were saying about being a part of these game fandom groups and stuff. It must feel really nice kind of being like, oh wait,
Absolutely.
we're getting there.
We've done so much research into like the target audience that we want to accommodate and make a game like accessible to, and also just the QA testing. All of that also validates that we're on the right track. But yeah, we really want to foster a community of creative expression, and we want to make a game that can be used as a self-expression outlet, inspired by a lot of like the media that I consumed when I was younger and the communities that I was in. Just people making personas, or what we would call food sonas or mold sonas, and the amount of just personal touch you can put into those. I really want to make a space where people can do that and exchange that and just talk about food from their cultures and teach other people about those cuisines, and it becomes a very fun experimental experience.
Yeah, that's so cool. And so what have some of the other highs and lows of the development journey been so far?
Ooh, well, I mean, the highs will always be fan interactions. Ooh, one thing is we do have like our merch collection, and people buying merch of characters from a demo that isn't even out yet is just also extremely flattering. Like, it's just so nice, just sometimes hard to process that people just are interested in the characters so much that they just have like little trinkets of them on their bags and whatnot, or stickers and stuff, and it really does make us so happy that I guess the visuals of our game and the characters they're pretty much all around Australia now. Yay! Lows that I would say is honestly just not being able to work on the game and having to worry about the business stuff, which has kind of been the last few months. We've just been preparing like that marketing campaign for the demo, and I'm like, oh, I just want to work on that trailer. I want to post online. I want to start developing the new content we have planned post demo. We really want to. I've already announced it online, so I can like basically say everything. I teased it last year in our last interview.
Oh, okay.
We want to create a vertical slice that we can hopefully showcase at PAX this year, and that's where a lot of the characters that we food that followers suggested are going to become NPCs in this new dessert themed village. I'm just so excited to draw gingerbread houses and have like Mountain Dew Springs or something, you know, all those environments. I'm really excited to draw.
To get really back into that creative
back into the food. I'm so excited.
It's such an interesting balance because marketing is so important, and I think, you know, indie games in particular, marketing is something that often gets left to the kind of the sidelines.
I hear that all the time, and we put a lot of care into our marketing, and it's just also the development fuels content for the marketing. So I want to get back to the development because it also gives us so much material to work with for the marketing. So I'm just really itching to get back into it. Like
you should give yourself like an hour a week or something to just do the creative stuff.
Yes, I should.
And I know we've already talked a bit about this, but what do you think really makes your game so unique?
Oh gosh. I could just honestly give you the unique selling points of like, oh, it's education by design, using a food and mold gimmick, it's got lots of puns, we're fusing a lot of different genres, like story-driven game with bullet hell and turn-based combat. But really, like, what our creative vision key pillars would be is definitely the novel approach we're taking to representing a multicultural society just through the personification of food, which is part of literally every culture around the world. It's at the heart of a lot of important, significant events. It's at the heart of family gatherings. It's like a love language. There's a whole art to cuisine as well, and we're just translating that into a different and unique medium that we hope can expose people to dishes they've never heard of, and maybe make them want to try some new food potentially. And aside from that, other things that we kind of want to do is definitely, can't say too much, but really one pillar we really want to drive home with our narrative is, so we are wanting to do a branching narrative with multiple endings, but we want to drive home that there is no perfect ending. If you think really hard about it, in terms of the food and mold conflicting ideologies that we have in our game, there's no way to have the absolute perfect fairy tale ending with both coexisting or one existing or the other existing. And we want that to even be relevant in the most ideal ending of our game.
Yep.
Generally, the endings that are the brightest shine a light on the flaws still,
Yep.
even more so than the worser endings, because if everything's so nice, it makes them more negative things a lot more apparent. And that's not something we want to ignore with our happy ending. We still want to reward the players for like getting the best outcome they could and giving them, that a bit of fan service and, making it feel good, but also making a point of this isn't the end of the main character's journey and everyone else's journeys, and there's still a lot more work to be done, and that's up to player interpretation.
Yeah, of course. And it sounds like you've really thought about, including some of those really relevant moral kind of dilemmas that are a part of real life. And it's obviously being explored in a really creative way.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it's kind of quite heavy in that.
Yes. I would say, if I would like to say what target audience would be interested in our game, if you like whimsy RPGs with really charming gameplay, but have complex stories and like a really intense underbelly, Foodomina might satisfy your cravings. But it's generally like the other games were inspired by, like Undertale, Deltarune, and Mori, In Stars in Time, Earthbound. We're just really wanting to kind of take the idea of branching narratives and multiple endings and challenging ourselves to make it even more complex and making it so much so that the player might get to a point where they actually have to really reflect on their actions, or it makes them think hard about what they're actually doing once they get exposed to all these different perspectives of different characters through the lens of the main characters.
Yeah.
Like, not everyone's going to be happy with the choices you make, even if you are objectively making the better choice, for example.
Yeah. Awesome. And so is there one thing that you're most excited about players getting to experience?
Well, the most recent thing is definitely we're working on that vertical slice, that new environment. We've kind of been on the same planet, Food Planet, for a really long time with this demo, and I'm just itching to get somewhere new.
Yep.
I've been conceptualizing like all these like different dessert themed biomes, like the meringue meadows or marshmallow meadows, or oh my god, it's so funny.
It's so fun.
Yeah, it is so fun, and I really want to get those characters that I like designed through collaboration with the followers as NPCs into this village, and just have like these side quests and all these interactions and villagers referring to other NPCs, and really make it feel like it's properly structured, like there's the world building and all that. I'm just so excited to expand on that and really show more of the food aspect of our game, because we have been focusing on mold for a bit of time.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so how can people support you? How can people support the development? Where can they go? What can they do?
Okay, so, the demo is releasing on Steam in a couple of months, sometime in May, so wishlisting the game will basically notify anyone that once the demo is released. But aside from that, you can see everything that we do through our devlog series on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Basically, the name of the game is the name of all of our socials.
Yep.
And yeah, we post a lot about the development we're doing, new characters we're adding, we ask for feedback a lot of the time, and we also do like those cuisine designing events where we get suggestions from our followers on what food they want to be added to the game, and I'll design the character and share it with you guys. And that is something I really enjoy. I hope I can expand to do more stuff with our followers as well, collaboratively.
Yeah.
We are thinking of having a Discord server in the works sometime soon.
Yeah.
So those are things we have, but ultimately just engaging with our socials is the most rewarding thing for us.
Yeah, so if you want a food character in this game, you've got to follow on their socials. You got to interact.
Yep.
All right, we're up to the lucky last question, arguably the hardest question of the interview. If your game was a coffee or tea blend, what would it be?
Well, context for the viewers, I don't drink coffee or anything for that matter. I only drink water, which is a bit ironic because I'm making like a food-themed game. But I really care about this question, so I asked one of my team members who drinks coffee what she thinks our game would be, and very helpful. She didn't give a specific type of coffee. She kind of just said, which I think is fitting for our game, that coffee is a beverage that is made in so many different ways all around the world, which pretty much represents what our game is about. It's about all the different cultural ways that food is approached and the different dishes and cuisine. So if our game were to be a coffee, it would be like all of them at once in like this really weird existential way.
Yeah.
And also coffee is just something that is very comforting for a lot of people, and it is also very energizing. So, you know, that's kind of like what our gameplay is in some aspects. So I would say all and none and yes.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy day to chat with us. I have loved getting to know even more about the game. And if you are interested, make sure you head over to Steam and wishlist Foodomina. You will not be sorry. Go and check out the really adorable artwork because it's incredible. The art style is incredible for this game. And we will be back very soon with another interview. So stick around for the next one.